everybody, it's me, Taryn Eileen, and welcome back to our Nancy Drew Let's Play of The Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. Last episode, we found Lori. Duh. We found Lori last episode. She kind of just faked her disappearance. And then she gave us a clue. She wants us to, like, help her find, a mine in Copper Gorge, I think. And also, like, we found out, like, a lot of different puzzles. So it looks like we're looking for a spyglass, a pickaxe, and a lamp. And then we're also looking for some different gemstones and dolls. So we are going to continue where we left off, finding the dolls. So we need... Load, please. We need 11 of them. And so far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of the dolls. I actually want to make sure that there's no information of dolls in here. No. There might be in there, maybe, but I don't know. And then I remember we read a story about two dolls, I think. They were like, one was crying, and I don't remember where that was though. So we kind of just left it off in here.
Sickly Sarah caught a germ so new, it made one of her pretty green eyes turn blue.
So, Sickly Sarah. Blue/green eye. We didn't find that one before, so lucky. Here's this book. It just has these in it, so I think I'm good. Let's leave. Oh, wrong way. It's so confusing which direction to go. Ooh, I just remembered where a stone was. Oh, here's the one. So here's the sleeping car. So there's 2 here because it talks about Edna and Alice. Ill-tempered Edna did not get her way. She couldn't get Alice to come out and play. I can't, I'm too tired is what Alice said. I just want to go straight back to bed. Edna angrily tried to make herself heard, but all that came out was one 2-part word. Is that maybe till Edna the Terrible finally gave up and cried? So maybe Edna is the one that says mama. 2-part word. And then Alice is too tired. So mama maybe? Because that's 1 and it's a 2-part word. Oh yeah, we don't know the numbers. Okay. Emergency brake. Here's 1. And that's a peridot. It's in the goat. I put that back together and must have got something from it, but it won't let me reopen it, so... Okay.
Nancy, what's with the Cheshire
hello.
Cat grin?
You found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece.
Oh, I didn't even read it.
Telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh,
Nope.
Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Bye.
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam, he can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
If the engineer had any surviving relatives, we may be in luck.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it, you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years
That's
ago.
what I need.
And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
Okay, so we won't be able to get the lamp and the pickaxe for a while.
See you later.
You better.
It seems like at least until the train stops. Okay, don't need that. Oh, here's Sadie Crawford. Frank and Joe. Sadie Crawford. 2 left feet. Or no shoes, because her shoes are here. Question mark.
An eagle. Where else have I seen an eagle?
On that thing. Looks like it still won't move. Okay. No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to go in here.
It looks like this thing opens up. But how?
We still need the duck. I think we have all the pipes connected.
Uh-oh.
Or
that
not.
doesn't look good.
Oh, I think in the sleeping car we still have that one. How many dolls do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 11. But we don't know what order they go in. So.
Yes?
What are you working on?
I'm writing my next book. I'm on a deadline, so until I write those 2 most wonderful of all 3-letter words, the end, everywhere I go, my laptop goes, and every chance I get, I write.
I found Lori. She's in the caboose. You were right. She disappeared because she wanted to see which of us would find her first.
And you won. Congratulations.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
Wealthy, imaginative, adventurous, stubborn, egocentric, and most importantly, he was smitten at the age of 35 by a young French woman named Camille, who died about a year after they were married.
Where was he from?
East Coast, Philadelphia, I think. His parents were British aristocrats. Sometime in the 1870s, he decided to seek his fortune out west, so he had this train custom built so that he, and some years later his wife, could traverse the mountains and plains in relative comfort.
So he went west and became a miner?
All anyone knows for sure is that years after Camille's death, he showed up in Denver with a pouch full of gold nuggets and semi-precious stones, which he used to purchase mining supplies. He refused to say how he'd come by them, which of course led to speculation that he had found a fantastically rich vein somewhere. Although to this day, its existence remains unsubstantiated, and its location quite unknown.
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr.
Okay.
Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
Do you think he's a good investigator?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives. Is that all, dear?
Did you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Doesn't everyone?
Do you think she could do it?
No. Could we please talk about something a little more pleasant?
How would I go about finding out the name of Jake's train engineer?
If you're smart, you'd ask me. And because my work is going surprisingly well, during my next break, I'll log on to my archives at home and see what I can turn up.
That'd be great, thank you.
Whoever invented the cellular modem, that's whom you should thank, dear.
Well, I'll let you go.
My publisher thanks you.
Okay. So I'm thinking we just talk to everybody. I did not mean to do that. Excuse me. Yeah. Let's also look at our journal because we haven't done any of that. Call
Finish
Bess
that.
and George,
Fin-
find Lori,
check.
talk to
Check.
Tino. Have not figured that out yet. Find out the colored blocks.
Finish that.
Okay. To open the locked sleeping cart, I need to dial in 4 numbers. Which 4 numbers? Okay. The piano. Figure out how to open that cigar box.
I'm done with that.
Okay, did that. Connect the pipes
Check.
in Jake's car. Something tells me that scale.
Check.
Okay, we did some of that. Keep your eyes
Can't
peeled
check
for
that
those
off yet.
slugs. So we need more. Read the letter
Can't
that
check
Lori
that off
gave
yet.
you. Tell Frank and Joe about it.
Check.
Use the weird tool to open the grate.
Check.
Connect the pipes and
Check.
Camille's grate. Solve the puzzle with all the letters.
Haven't done that yet.
Figure out what to do with that dance step pattern.
Finish that.
Figure out why the square and the duck are on the stove. See if those symbols on the stove are related to the symbol.
Still have to do that.
It's on the sampler in Camille's car. They have something to do with the scale. Okay. We need to read the letter.
The 3rd of November, 1901, from somewhere in Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mine before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands, but with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country, to towns which can be difficult to find, to Calico, Silverado, and Central City, to Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. To locate the mine on the map, you'll need my projector. When it comes to placing the stones, you'll need to ask someone who holds a warm place in my heart. I have stored his name accordingly, but to retrieve his name, you'll have to give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, and wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. As for my beloved Camille, she has 4 words for you, words which, when translated into numbers and used in combination, will help power my projector. But alas, she's taken them with her to her grave. So go to Copper Gorge, Colorado, and pay your respects, and let some of her goodness rub off on you. I promised Camille that this train would always be her home. In return, she promised to never leave, and indeed she never has. People say I'm crazy, but I've seen her, and heard her, and feel her presence on the train even today, 20 years after her untimely death. So above all else, my dear niece, let nothing happen to my train. It holds wonderful things. Kindest regards, Jake Hurley.
Okay. So we need a map. You'll need my projector. Okay, so we need to figure out who the engineer was. The name of their maker. I'm wondering, like, if the dancing shoes is like, because the doll has kind of dancing shoes.
That must be the
too.
projector. Whoa! Somebody must have thrown
Holy
the emergency
crap.
brake.
The question is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something?
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Lori.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
What did the engineer say?
He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Lori showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlena. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
Do you think she could have thrown the brake and snuck back to her laptop without your seeing her?
Not likely, but possible, I guess.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
Okay. I wonder if she's
More
found
questions?
out anything.
Were you able to find the name of Jake's train engineer?
I came across 3 references to the fact that Jake had an engineer, but I'm afraid none of them included his name. I failed. Sorry.
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Lori. So that leaves those 2 friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
They're
What
not
do you
my
think
friends.
their motive was?
I don't know about your friends, but perhaps those other 2 simply thought it would be fun. Boys will be boys.
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Lori release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller, although I highly doubt it.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just the dead engineer on board?
That does make the story a little more interesting. My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way, after which the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
What do you think happened to Camille?
She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
I should get going.
That would be nice.
Like, I find this story, like, very intriguing, so I don't know why she's not intrigued by it, but she was intrigued by the Shadow Ranch one. Well, actually, the emergency brake's over here.
Looks like Tino's through dusting for fingerprints. Better not mess with that puppy.
Okay. I thought there might be something on the floor, but there's not. We haven't talked to him for a bit.
What's up?
I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
Strange. My vibes are never wrong. What's even stranger is I'm still getting them. So maybe they're not about Lori. Maybe they're about you.
Me? I'm not in any trouble.
Trust me, Either you or Lori is, or soon will be, in big trouble.
No offense, but I don't believe you.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
So are you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
You've got something?
I set up a camera and took some time-lapse photos. Sometimes I was in the room, sometimes I wasn't, but somewhere along the line, I managed to get a shot of Camille.
Where? You don't mean that little blob, do you?
Yep, that's Camille.
Okay.
You're skeptical. That's cool. Just remember, the key word when it comes to ghostly phenomena is energy. That blob is the result of Camille's residual life force, spirit if you will, reacting with the chemicals in the photographic paper.
Couldn't it just be a flaw in the photographic paper?
Okay, it could be that too, but it's not. Trust me.
Thanks for the chat.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, I need a lot more evidence than that. And you can't just be like, oh, it's Camille. I think it's actually this way. Could be anything, to be honest.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
That's right. You can read it if you want.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough.
Okay.
2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in pans under the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
You don't think there's anything helpful in there?
Nada.
Okay.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
Did you do anything else besides look for fingerprints?
Of course. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain
Gray.
ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can ya?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
You're going
Okay.
to arrest him?
Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assault, maybe even attempted murder. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him.
You've been a big help.
Not
So we need
a
to
problem.
go talk to John Gray now. Do 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 do, and be like, bro, was it you?
Hey, glad you stopped in. You gotta listen to this.
What have you got?
I put this digital recorder in the corner where Camille showed up in that picture and turned it on so it would just keep recording. Now when you play it back at normal volume, all you hear is background noise.
Okay.
But when you turn the volume way up and run the signal through a filter or two,
You do hear like a singing.
hear that?
I hear something. It kind of sounds like a woman singing.
Not just any woman.
Camille.
So be careful what you say in here. She's listening.
Are you by any chance missing a small digital thermometer?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. When I went through the box I'd packed them in, that one over there, I came up one short. I was hoping to set up at least 6 in here so I could check for cold spots. How did you know I was missing one?
Because Tino Balducci found it by the emergency brake handle when he was dusting it for fingerprints. And now he thinks you're the one who pulled it.
That's ridiculous. I didn't have any reason to pull the emergency brake.
Is it true that your show is in danger of being canceled?
Newsflash, my show was canceled. Happened last night. But what nobody knows yet is that it's been picked up by a major TV network. Not only am I still on the air, but I'm sitting prettier than ever. Any other questions?
Were you in this room the whole time prior to that emergency brake thing?
Of course not. I made a couple of trips to my compartment in the sleeping car to get more equipment. But did I get an overpowering urge to pull the emergency brake while I was there? No.
Thanks for the chat.
Come back anytime.
Okay. So now we need to ask Lori? I don't know. Find all the gemstones, ask John Gray about the thermometer, see if you can discover who threw it, collect all the items, and see if those symbols above this. Okay. So we were headed over here when the brake was thrown. It'd be absolutely terrifying to cross like that.
Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
I take a picture. Okay.
Yes? I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
How did you know that?
I'm a good detective, remember?
We went out a couple of times, yeah. As for why we stopped going out, you'd have to ask him.
Do you have any idea who threw the emergency brake?
I know exactly who did it.
You do?
Well, who else could it be? Camille. None of us has any reason to stop the train but Camille. She doesn't want us to find Jake's mine, so she's going to do whatever she can to keep its location a secret.
She is dead, you know.
Well, duh. That's why I know it's her. What's more, your friend that Jim Hurley guy?
Not Jim, Joe Hardy.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's Camille too. He just doesn't have the guts to say so.
We'll talk some more later.
Okay.
I'll be waiting.
So we need to call Bess and George. See if they can figure out the shoes.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is, why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read. But to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint. Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the walls. Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone and we'll get right on it.
Ah, you guys are the greatest.
I know. Need anything else?
I discovered this cabinet full of old dolls in the caboose.
Old dolls make my skin crawl. Whose were they?
They belonged to Jake's wife, Camille. Jake mentioned them in his letter to his niece.
They could have been Jake's, you know. I mean, they never had a child of their own, right? So maybe after Camille died, he went a little bonkers. Oh, Bess. Hey, I'm just trying to think outside the box here, okay? Something it wouldn't hurt you to do from time to time, little Miss No Imagination. You know, maybe I'll just put this paintbrush down, walk out that door, and let you do this all by yourself. No! You've got to keep painting. If I don't get this done by tomorrow, I'll be grounded for a month. I was just kidding about your imagination. It's wonderful. You're wonderful. Very, very wonderful. That's more like it.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Let us know what happens.
Okay, so we need to go menu, view pictures, send that to Bess Marvin. Okay.
Still have to finish that. I'm done with that.
Find the gemstones. Yeah. Got the letter, got 3 of the gemstones. We're missing 1. We need to play the piano. Okay. Well, that's all the time that we have for today, you guys. So next time we will be hopefully getting a call back from Bess and George about the shoes, and then we might know what to do after that. I'm not exactly sure, but we shall see. I hope you guys had a great time. Have courage and be kind, and we shall see you all next time. Bye!